So we say to you that the ways in which many of you are confronting things in your own lives individually is what you could say is the macrocosm, is the microcosm of the macrocosm of all. And what we often talk to our human friends about is how it all begins within. And so we say to you, there are so many simple things that you can be experiencing to do, and we know you like the doings, that if you allow yourself the true time to do those things that call your spirit forward, you will set your vibration on a different path. And when you set your vibration on a different path, literally the world changes around you to meet that vibration. Most of you have a very difficult time with this idea because you feel victim of the world. You feel that you have no choice. And this is a very important piece of the topics that we talk about, which is that you are the chooser. You are a human chooser, not a human doing. It's one of our favorites. It's one thing we like to reflect to you, that we know that some of you are in what we would call choice. You feel that you don't have a lot. Therefore, you think you don't have a lot of choice. Therefore, the reflection outside of you is that you have not a lot of choice. There are so many ways that human beings create their reality. So if you consider that you think you cannot do something, that it continues to be the reflection of your experience. Now, we have had many with our human friends who say, "What, Osairah, if this were so, and there were people, or there's my friend who is in a position, he or she thought leave that situation, or she cannot move from that area and she is stuck there." What we would say is that is her creation, and she is the chooser of that creation. We know that gets very big for some people, because then you take it into the other extremes of your experience in the third dimension. Oh, well, dreams. We know that there are things like dis-ease. We know there is experiences that lead to harsh reality experiences, and that per se, that those people are choosing that, is very difficult for humanity at times to hear, to integrate, and to come to understand what we really mean when we say that you are human choosers. There is always, dear one, a soul lesson in everything that is experienced by any being in consciousness. Any embodiment, any physical being who is embodied comes to this planet with very much a reality blueprint that their soul is calling them forward to experience. That does not mean things are predestined, preordained, always set, and it cannot veer. But ultimately, there are things that soul desired at an extraordinary level of consciousness to experience in the third dimensional reality, which will gift, no matter what that experience is, that soul something they have requested. And ultimately, it is always for a higher good. And we know that being very densely in the third dimension, you cannot always see it. Some cannot always see it. People don't always see that ultimately, no matter what the storyline is, no matter what the experience is, ultimately there is gold there. There is transformation there. There is something the soul or the souls have wanted, and it may be so large that you cannot conceive of it, but you do not understand the ripple effect of all the soul's choosings that you come to interplay with on this third dimensional reality. And so what this leads us back to in a bit of the conversation, which we fully love to open up and have more discussion about and questions about, is that in truth, there is so much more you can experience when you take personal responsibility deeply, truly, authentically within. When you take a personal responsibility for the thoughts you are thinking, for the energies that you are putting out. And if you are putting out energies that are reflecting something, or thinking thoughts that are reflecting and giving you something back, that you ultimately realize, I don't really like that too much. I see that maybe if it's possible that I am a part of this co-creation, and there is something that is being reflected to you that you do not love, do not like, do not want, then there is something inherent in that that you can take some personal responsibility about. Because, dearest ones, no matter what the experience is, no matter if it is something you love or you do not love, it is ultimately a spiritual journey. It is a walk of the soul. It is a walk of the higher desire for expansion of the soul. And so everything is always about that expansion. Even the seemingly darkest dark things are a pull towards the expansion of the highest that can come out of that. And so what we would like to reflect, give awareness to, and drop into you all is, please, what is it that you are in co-creation with? What are you choosing as a human chooser? What are you choosing? And what is it within that that you can take personal responsibility for? So catch yourself, we say. Pay attention. Wake up, dearest ones, to that which is awakening within you, that which is pouring forth into, through you, as you, into the world, being the reflection. And how is it that you can learn from that reflection? How is it that you can own and take personal responsibility for that which you are co-creating? Some of you are creating literally heaven on earth. And we do not necessarily mean that the outside actually looks like some version of someone else's heaven on earth. Many of you are having experiences and you are being in somewhere very different than what is the perceived norm of heaven on earth. And yet you are having an internal experience of heaven on earth. This is the call. This is the soul's call. This is an expanded spirit. This is the ways in which you are elevating consciousness. This is the way that you change the world. This is what is occurring on this planet. Though the reflections look like so many different, and we do say look like, so many different outpicturings, you still, as the sovereign being unto yourself, the consciousness that is the soul life that you are, the soul signature of the eternalness of being that you are, can actually be a connected piece of the equation of the highest light that you have come here to learn, no matter what the circumstances are. And so we see that as a lot. We see to say to you that gives you some food for thought, that opens up a few opportunities for conversation.